This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I'm delighted to be joined all the way in America once again with Thomas O'Toole. How are you, Thomas?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Just finished my last bar this morning, so looking forward to next week now, getting in there.
Yeah, I guess I know me and you exchanged messages. And you were sort of saying that your coach Mark DeLuca had sort of said that he could foresee the sort of Laurent Humes obviously pulling out of the fight. Like, so it probably came as no surprise to you sort of when that phone call came to say he was off.
I'll be honest, it surprised me because I know he was getting paid well. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of they said at the start, and I'm like, no, no, he's getting paid well. Look, he agreed to it. He's in training camp. Like, why would he pull out? And look, I don't know what the issue is exactly. He could be injured. I don't know. I didn't like attack it too much. He said he was out. He's out. But I won't criticize him or anything because I know it's a hard game. It's tough and psychologically it can be a tough game. So, I hope he's okay. And yeah, look, we end up getting a better opponent now and someone who, if I get the victory, it's better for my career. So yeah, it all works out.
It's a weird one sometimes, Thomas, because sometimes you have a really good opponent. Obviously, Laurent Hughes was unbeaten, and you're sort of going, how can you? And I know that Mark had posted the other day to say about it's going to be a better opponent. Sometimes it's hard to get a better opponent, particularly on a short notice. But obviously, Vaughan Alexander, anybody sort of knows in the fight game, it sort of as any sort of worst sort of in the game. They know of obviously what he's done. His title probably to have is he's a gatekeeper to world level, and that's what you want. Like, you want to have these tests, you want to be world ranked. So in order for you to be world ranked, you have to come through and look good against people like Vaughan Alexander.
Yeah, so that's the plan. Obviously next week it's the biggest test of my life, and I put in a hard camp. I'm looking forward to it. But like you said, you need to get the victory and look well doing it, and then that means you're ready to step on to the next level. Like there's no point waiting around. Like this is a hard game, and I put my life into it. So time to get there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good test for me.
Fenway Park, the first fight card in nearly 70 years. Like 16th of June 1956 was the last fight card in Fenway Park. Like, you're creating history. Obviously, you're headlining the card, but you're the first main event sort of fight there in nearly 70 years. Like, what an honor for you.
Oh, it's amazing. I relocated here about 2 years ago, and obviously most of my career has been here. But I am the biggest star in Boston right now, Boston boxing. There's if you're talking about boxing in Boston, like you have to mention my name. I'm headlining the shows. I'm bringing the biggest crowds. And I'm very blessed. I have great support here. The Irish really back their own, and to this is a historic night, and I'm really looking forward to it. That's why it was crazy to me that Loren pulled out because I'm thinking like, look, even if you're worried about losing, like this is history. Like you don't want to be fighting in small hall shows against guys you're gonna beat for your whole career. Like you want to take the risk. If you fail, you fail. But at least take the risk. Like, you know what I mean? That's building the memories, and I'm really looking forward to this. It's a great show. It's a historic night, and yeah, I'm really buzzing for it.
Do you feel the pressure attached to it? Obviously, the first fight card nearly 70 years. Like, do you sort of feel the pressure sort of with that? I guess every time you sort of step in the ring, you feel some kind of pressure. But is there a different pressure added the Fenway Park card?
So yeah, like I said, there's always a bit of pressure, but I've taken in my stride. It's not. I don't consider it pressure. I consider it a privilege. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many people will be able to have this kind of pressure on themselves? Do you know what I mean? So look, you just go in there and you do your best. And I know I'm going to win next week, and I have good support from people around me. So yeah, of course, there's a bit of pressure, and you'll feel it maybe when you're getting ready to go in. But it's a real privilege and a real honor, to be able to do this.
And an extra added bonus as well. It's going to be worldwide on the zone. Not to put any more pressure on you, Thomas, but it's going to be worldwide in the zone. People's not going to have to sit ringside to sort of film your fights because it's on like a pay-per-view stream that people can't get in Ireland and things like that. People have no excuse now to, I guess, obviously time-wise probably is the only excuse people can have now, but
Uh,
people's no excuse because it's around the world in the zone.
Yeah, it's funny because the first few fights I maybe had, I wouldn't have been the main event. So people were able to watch it back home, maybe I was at the start of the card or like three fights in, so at 10, 11 midnight. now I'm on at 3 or 4 a.m. Like, do you know what I mean? So it is a lot tougher. But yeah, it's great having on DAZN. You know, DAZN is the platform for boxing now. So to be fighting on DAZN, it's good. Like, you know, it gives you a much bigger audience and allows more people to see you.
I guess the other added thing on that as well, it shows the rest of the rest of the world sort of who you are. Like, you know, you're pushing to get in to get the world title honors, and there's other fighters, other managers, other promoters are all going to be tuning in. They're going to be going, we need to get this guy on our card. Like, he started off perfectly with Matchroom, you know, a knockout on debut, and you're sort of going, this is brilliant. Matchroom's going to have me back. Like, you know, I know obviously you're promotionally with Nolan Brothers and everything else, but this puts you in a perfect shop window to get yourself closer to these world titles.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the right step ups at the right time, and you know the Nolans have been doing great work with me. You know they're investing in my career. Do you know what I mean? Like they're giving me the opponents I need, and yeah, like this is just another one. It's a step up, and you know we're getting ready to get onto that big stage. You know that's the ultimate goal in the end: become a world champion and be fighting in front of millions.
Just obviously want to speak on another big thing that sort of happened for you this year. John Cena, obviously, I know you're a big John Cena fan for years. This is obviously his last year as a wrestler. Sent you a video message and things like that. Like, I guess that when you know you're starting to make it sort of somewhere in life, obviously in the boxing world, when you have a superstar of John Cena's, you know, cat nature sort of, you know, the realm that he has, like him sending you obviously a message, obviously wishing you well.
Oh, it was great. You know, like people will probably laugh at me, but growing up, he was my idol, my hero. Do you know what I mean? And even now, like just I look back and I think of the way he was a role model for kids. It's a huge thing. Like, and I almost have more respect for him now than I did growing up because I see what he did and you know the way he led people. And I think he's the man with the most Make a Wish things. Like, do you know what I mean? So he's like he's a great individual, and yeah, it was great to get that message from him. Do you know, a man I looked up to my whole life, and always like wanted to be like him. You know, when I was a kid. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, and hopefully, I think his I've never been to any wrestling shows or anything like that, but I think his last event will be in Massachusetts. I think you know this is where he's from
Mm-hmm.
in December, so I might have to try and get to it.
Hey, you never know, he might end up coming to one of your fights between now and then.
Yeah, I think there was a plan of him to try and get out to a fight, like you know, but he obviously has a very busy schedule, you know, between Hollywood and the WWE. Like you know, it's busy. So yeah, I know he wanted to actually get out to a fight, but it can be tough. So who knows? Maybe he'll be at Fenway.
Yeah. Obviously I haven't spoke to you obviously since, you know, obviously on interview, obviously since your last fight. But obviously last time out, obviously James Perkins, obviously somebody you'd sparred and stuff before. Um, in some ways, I guess, you know, probably it was just, I guess the weekend it was, Thomas, obviously we just lost someone obviously had fought in your undercard in Galway, and John Cooney. Like, was it very, very tough for you that fight week? I don't want to dwell too much because I know you're so close to your fight and things like that, but was the James Perkins fight very, very tough for you because everybody was sort of feeling something. Everybody's always connected in the Irish boxing community, but it was very tough. Obviously, I seen afterwards. Obviously, you get down on your knees and sort of prayed and things like that to make sure your opponent was fine. But that shows there's more to life sometimes in boxing.
Yeah, it's funny. I like it was only a couple of hours before my fight. I got the news that he had passed away. Like you know, and kind of like that's tough going into like at that time was the biggest fight of my life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm kind of like, wow, that's this isn't a game now. Obviously, I know it's not a game. I've always known, but you know, some people don't maybe have the respect for boxing that they should. You know, it's very dangerous, and you know, John was a warrior. Like I watched the fight back. Like you know, he stood there until the very end. Like, do you know what I mean? And it was sad and it was tough. Like you know, and in the fight, like you obviously you seen in the fight, like when I kind of knocked him out, I panicked. I'm kind of because I was like, where's the referee? You know, it's just because no matter what, like you could fighters do this all the time to sell fights. They do this like you know trash talk and but you never want to really hurt the person you're in the ring with. It's sport and business at the end of the day. Like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, you want to do well and you want to get these highlight reel knockouts, but you always hope your opponents are okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always pray for myself and my opponent to go home safe to our families because you know it's a dangerous game, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, it is one of them. Like, we always know the dangers involved in the sport, but we never think we're going to be that close to it, or someone we know. You know, maybe happen, and obviously we see it in obviously other shows and things like that, and they're of a smaller sort of nature in other countries, and you're going, it's never going to happen on my doorstep. It's not with somebody I know, but that's unfortunately the lottery we have in life, that we just don't know what's going to happen. But I think in some ways it probably brings the passion back more for people. Like obviously you're always probably going to have, a memory of John obviously moving forward, and someone that tried to live their dreams, and you'll always feel blessed that you're still able to keep following your dreams.
Yeah, like I remember he had trained with me in Galway for a little while. So I did get to know him a little bit, and like his career was going great. He had fought on Matchroom and stuff. He was doing great, like, and I said, yeah, you don't know what life has in store for you. Like, do you know what I mean? Things can happen at any moment, like, and everybody experiences that, things happen, and suppose you just gotta kind of try and move on with it and keep going and kind of have faith. You know what I mean? It's tough, like, but yeah, look, I'm very blessed to be still chasing my dreams, and always thinking about like John and even other fighters, that lose their lives. It's and that poor girl who lost her life there last week.
Yeah,
Like it's rough. I know that wasn't boxing related, but it's a tough game. Like, and like there's more to life than boxing, 100%.
it definitely is. Pierce Stadium, obviously, Kieran Malloy obviously getting a big shot in Pierce Stadium. Like, will you get home for that, Thomas? Like, obviously, will you just be watching? Obviously, in America, like, what an occasion for Galway. Like, I guess in some ways you'll sort of look at that and go, like, you could be the next one to headline in Pierce Stadium and things like that. Like, what a month June's going to be for Galway.
Yeah, that card is amazing. And honestly, like Kieran deserves it. You know what I mean? Like he's worked his whole life for it. He's won titles. Do you know what I mean? Like this is what he's dreamed of, and I'm happy he's getting it. Like this is a huge card. He has the best fighters in Ireland all on his undercard. Do you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be. I don't think I'll get home for it, but I'll be watching it because and even Kieran has a really good fight. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, they're all good fights. GBM are doing a great job. They're putting on the shows that people want to see, like, so they're getting bigger and better. Yeah, so I'm really happy for Kieran. It's great for him. Do you know what I mean? I know we were looking at maybe doing a show in Galway at Eamon DC Park, but we'll see. We'll have to wait till see what the plan is with going forward. Do you know what I mean? It's something I would like to do, but it'll have to make sense for me as well. Like, like right now my career is in America and I'm building it here, and it's going good. But I would definitely like to get home for a bigger fight, like it somewhere like Eamon DC Park or even PS Stadium. Do you know what I mean? Like that's stuff of dreams. Like, yeah.
It is. It's one of them, isn't it? It's trying to balance it. Sometimes you don't want to be away from home too long, or people forget that you're a boxer. You don't want to obviously upset the rhythm that you have in America and building the fan base and stuff there. Like it's trying to find that right balance. As it says, as the fights get bigger, probably it becomes easier sometimes. But then you're going, but what happens to all the fans that I have here? That can't come to Ireland and stuff like that. So it's trying to balance it out.
Yeah, that's it. Like, do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm very logical about this. You know what I mean? Like, I have a short window of my career, so you want to make the most of it. Obviously, you want to build the memories, and like, I got to fight in Galway last year. That was like the greatest night of my career. Do you know what I mean? Like, getting the fight there, it was unbelievable. So, yeah, it's something I would definitely like to do again. But like you said, it has to make sense, and like a lot of people don't understand the whole business side of boxing, and to get a fight over there, say if I'm over here, to bring one there, like it has to make sense. Like, but yeah, I'm definitely open to it. Something I would like to do before I hang up the gloves. But yeah, I'm happy with the way things are going here now. Do you know what I mean? And I have a lot of goals and ambitions of places I want to fight. In America and even outside of America. Yeah.
You've no inkling of hanging the gloves up anytime soon. No, so people's not going. He's talking about hanging the gloves up. It's not coming anytime soon.
No, not yet, not yet. No, I have a good few years left of me yet, huh?
The like for you mentally wise, like at what stage did you know the Vaughan Alexander fight was locked in? Was it shortly after? Like, did they give you an idea as to who was potential opponents? Like, at what stage did your head change that you knew it was Vaughan Alexander? Like, it's obviously just come out public. When did you know?
Oh, at the start of this week, I knew. They had another guy in mind first. A guy I can't even pronounce his last name. Samuel is his first
You're
name,
like
but
me.
yeah, but he was good. He's a good kid from Ohio. He had just had an 8 rounder at the end of April, which he won. So like, obviously all his medicals were fresh. He's coming off a win. Um, he was a good kid. I think he was 13-3, good record, and they were thinking about getting him. But then I don't think he didn't want the fight, and they had Alexander pretty quick. Like Vaughan Alexander will fight anyone, like you've seen the guys he's fought with, like, when he goes in there. So it wasn't hard to get him at all. Like, he's real game, and he's tough. So yeah, once they mentioned him, I knew that wasn't going to be a problem.
What way does it, like, when you know that obviously the caliber of fighters that Vaughan's fought and the sort of stature he has, like his nickname's the animal as well. Like if it doesn't get any sort of worse in the mindset, obviously, like what way do you go into the fight that that that's going to be your toughest test, so far? Like he's probably going to drag you to places in the fight where you've probably never been to before. So in some ways it's like a learning on the job sort of type at the same time.
Well, yeah, that's the only way you do learn, isn't it? You have to learn on the job. Like, you can probably spar as much as you want, but until you're in the ring, with that bit of pressure and kind of the noise of the crowd and going through a bit of adversity, like you're not really going to learn or develop. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I know it sounds funny, but I'm hoping he tests me, like, and he shows me something different. And because the whole point of these fights is to learn and grow and to improve, like, like obviously I know I'll beat him, but I need to beat him and learn from it and to progress. And like he has the experience of a world champion. He's been in it with the best, so I know fighting him, I'll pick up things and I'll learn things. Do you know what I mean? And you're learning the whole time, like and that's the goal until you get to that world title fight. You want to be ready, so you need these kind of fights, these guys that test you and show you something different.
Just lost you signal wise there a wee second, Thomas. Your signal just dropped out a wee bit. We'll just wait for this to come back in.
You have me now?
It's just picking back up there again now. I can pause that wee bit. Sorry, I was about the wee delay in speech there. What were you saying there, Thomas? I just gave you a recap if you remember what it was you were saying.
Like obviously, this fight, like you want to learn from it. The whole point is all these fights to get something different and to see something different to learn and grow. So then when you do get that, that big fight, hopefully that world title fight, you're ready for it. Do you know what I mean? You've seen all the different styles, you've dealt with the adversity, like and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like sparring is great, but you need to be in the ring with the crowd and with that kind of pressure and that experience dealing with the adversity to grow from it and learn from it.
The dream in your head, I guess, the good thing is you want a good 10 rounds, but like when you look at his record and you see he's only been stopped twice, like would it be a statement to obviously they stop Vaughan Alexander?
Yeah, it would be definitely would propel me up if I was to get a stoppage. But like I said, the plan is to go in there and just do what we have to do to get the win. Like obviously the victory is the most important thing, especially a big test like this. But I'm looking to impress, and I'm looking, obviously like we said, it's on DAZN. After this fight, people are gonna know all about me.
And like, I guess if you won in a really good fashion, like how close do you believe that you could be, towards sort of breaking into that top 15 bracket in the governing bodies? Like I think that's the only thing so far you haven't been sort of ranked in a governing body yet. Like you had said to me, obviously your plan was to get into them governing bodies and start working your way up. How far do you believe you're sort of from sort of world level now?
Yeah, look, we'll probably talk about it again after next week and after that fight and how I do. Do you know what I mean? You see how it goes, like how well I win. Um, but I'm hoping within the next year, like, obviously to get into the governing bodies is all about getting those ranking titles. Again, it's the business side of it, getting the governing bodies to put up the titles for fights, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not I want to get a title this year, but I'm not worrying about it too much. Obviously, like these types of fights are the fights I need that'll help me grow. And once I'm ready, you can just take that step, whether you're in the governing body or not, like, But yeah, the goal is to get in there very soon, and to get a ranking title this year.
Yeah, it's one of them things. Sometimes the belts sometimes mean nothing. It's the progress you're making sometimes in the sport and anything else, and going, what good's a belt to you if obviously it's not getting you a bigger sort of opportunity, So the fight comes first. the belt sort of until it gets to the world belts. They sort of really are only a stepping stone towards it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, so it's all like that. It's all about learning, progressing, and yeah. Hopefully this year, at the end of the year, we're in a good position.
I guess obviously to all the friends, obviously the family, obviously all back home that obviously are going to be tuning in. Obviously that support network obviously is still paramount. They fueling your fires. You keep going on, but obviously to anybody that's sort of thinking about why they get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to watch you fight. I guess obviously this is your spiel that something you have to do is why should I get up and fight and watch you fight?
Well, do you know what? It's funny. I don't have to convince people too much because the support I get from back home is amazing. I have people, messaging me all the time, like, and looking forward to it. And I have actually a few people coming out from back home because they're excited about this event, like. And for the people that don't know whether they'll get up or not, like, this is the toughest fight in my career. This is a real test. So if you want to see a good fight, this is the one to tune in for.
Definitely. And like sometimes it's like some of the you get fans sometimes at different stages of career. Like, you become a world champion and then the people come from the woodwork somewhere. Like this is people's opportunity to see how good you are before you get to world level so they can say, I've known Thomas O'Toole since here.
Uh,
Thomas O'Toole follows me. Thomas O'Toole sent me a comment on this. Like this is their sort of moment to get behind the Thomas O'Toole steam train now.
yeah, like I know the people that have been with me from the very first day. I have a lot of friends back home. They've every fight they're messaging me. A lot of them have traveled out for several fights. You know what I mean? I know the people that are with me, and the whole time, you get more people backing you and supporting you, and it's great. Like whether it be at home or out here, like out here, especially, I'm building my fan base more and more each fight. Like, and it's great. Like I get good support, and I'm very blessed.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously, it's always a pleasure and an honor, obviously, to have your time, particularly so close to fight night. Obviously, for anybody, obviously, it's still not aware. You fight next Saturday night. First fight card in Fenway Park in nearly 70 years, and it's going to be live on DAZN. But thanks as always for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cheers, Thomas. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.